little bird doesn't know the words of the song that I never wrote. Can you hear the whistling wind?
Hi folks, it's been a long day, but I'm pretty bleary-eyed. I'm sat in my studio. I've been having a bit of a sort out, so we're in total chaos here, but it just occurred to me that whilst I was here in the Manchester studio, I might just show you a little bit of my very precious pieces of larger artworks that were very much the start of me painting and experimenting with something other than scenic work. So you can probably see the snake behind me at the moment. I'll just raise up slightly. You can see the colour better than going from a distance, although I will go from a distance. But here you can see a painting which is a 6-foot canvas. I'm going to get up now and let you have a proper look at it. This one is called Don Juan's Reckless Daughter. And the reason it's called On One's Reckless Daughter is because it's a picture by a song by Joni Mitchell that is one of my all-time favourite songs. It's an absolute train of a song hurtling down a track. It's got the most amazing lyrics, and I would advise anyone who gets a chance to listen into her genius and just absorb the lyric. The words are amazing. So I spent a fantastic 4 days dancing joyously around this canvas, using everything I had to hand: emulsion, car spray paints, acrylics, you name it, it sort of went in there. And Don Juan's Reckless Daughter, the actual piece of art, came about. I'm going to take you through a couple of the other canvases. When I started to paint with David Vaughan, he basically just pointed me at a canvas and said, let your mind do the painting and don't think, just paint. And that process created a couple of paintings, one of which was this, and David's always said that this was my signature piece. You can see there's a lot of angst in it. I often paint from events, and this particular event was an extremely painful time in my life. You can probably see it coming out in the picture. A lot of anger, there's a lot of angst, there's a lot of bitterness, and sometimes it's very cathartic to put it on paper or canvas, shall I say, and I look at it nowadays, and I can step away from it despite the memories it evokes, but I can actually step away and see it as a piece of art nowadays, which is always good. Moving on a little bit further, these are some of my more spiritual paintings. This one is a dragon. I love using palette knife, love using thick paint palette knife. Costs a fortune, but there you go. But one of my favourite ones is my Cree Angel. It's very, very hard to see the Cree Angel. I've never yet got a decent photograph of her because she's done in metallics. I painted her horizontally and dribbled most of the paint onto her. So if you go in close, and we've got some problems with lighting in here at the moment, so unfortunately she's not as lit as she should be. But if we go in close, you can actually see the effect of the light on the metallics, and if you go at different angles, you can see how it lights up. But it needs to be stood in front of, really. But she is my Cree Angel. She's my creative guardian angel, and in her bowl, which is my world, I put all the things that I would like to aspire to, hopefully wisdom being one of them. This is my shamanic painting. I have a very good friend, Andy, and this painting incidentally willed to him because it always reminds me of him as a spiritual individual walking through a forest with his long hair decorated with beads and feathers in the place where he really should be. If he was in the right era, he would be an Indian spirit, I think. This picture, again, is another one I painted when I was working under the tutelage of David Vaughan. Excuse my dog groaning in the background. Just so you know, it is my dog. There he is. Basically, it's called The Message, and again, it came about through a series of dreams that I just knew had to go into this picture. I didn't know what it was about. All I knew was it was called The Message, and that one day, when the message came clear, I would know why I painted this picture. If we go in closely, you'll see that she's holding in her hand a chain with stars. Again, it comes from a very painful time in my life, but a series of events, and at the end of a series of events, 4 years after I painted the picture, 4 days after the event, I walked past this in my studio, did a double take, and realised that I had in some way prophesied the moment I had just experienced, 4 years to experiencing it. And that chain with stars was held out like that to me in cupped hands and tipped into my hands. And I just think, some things in life you can explain, some things you can't. I can't explain it. I'm open-minded, but there you go. Hence, I've got a great deal of interest in spiritual art and the messages that we sometimes get through our dreams and just pointers in life. So here at the end of the tour of my studio, well, the gallery of my studio in Manchester. There's a lot more to it, but I kind of like to keep my spaces private, but this is my public space. Love being up at this studio. It's a home from home. And as I say, I don't see it as often as I should nowadays, obviously because I am concentrating down in Kent. But lovely when it's a nice summer day like this and windows are open over the river, so we love it. So thank you for visiting with me, and I hope you've enjoyed it.
I know a melody on certain occasions that doesn't dare to wear